I kept hearing one specific word during my time in Japan, and that word, onsen. It turns out that a lot of Japanese people go to onsens. In this vlog, I talk about my experience in a public onsen. I went to a public onsen. I'm gonna tell you, it's one of a kind of experience. The old people do not give a flying F, man. They do not care. And I was not allowed to record there for obvious reasons. This is how it went. I go to this onsen at the least peak time possible, which is the opening time. I go in, I do the normal business, and then I go into the hot spring place. Bam! A naked person. It was literally as bizarre as it seems. And then, why? I thought I was done with hills, but these hills are killing me. No. Oh my. It's 35 degrees, no wind. I need to relax. And the time you stay there is unlimited. You can literally stay there for the whole time you're there, if you really wanted to. I only decided to stay there for 20 minutes, and there were two big reasons. First of all, you didn't have any electronics, which makes sense, right? You don't want the risk of someone recording you. Then that leads to, what do you do when you don't have your phone? And for me, it would be daydreaming, right? But there was a big problem. I am casually doing my thing, enjoying their hot spring. But then, to the corner of my eyes, my peripherals, I see this old Japanese man turn his whole body to my direction. I'm like, okay, that's clearly not normal, but I'm just gonna casually stare at this tree and try and not acknowledge the man that has moved his whole body position towards my direction. 5 minutes go by and I still notice this old man looking at my direction. He's definitely admiring me at this point. So I'm like, I don't have a phone, I have nothing but my imagination, and all I can imagine is this fucker staring at me. Because he is, it's not an imagination. So I then look to my right and I make eye contact with this guy, and he's looking at me. Like, when I turned to his direction, his eyes was already on me. So that means for 5 minutes straight, he was just staring at me. And at that point, it was always very uncomfortable. You know, so I stayed there for another 5 minutes, I think. And again, kept doing this glancing of like looking at me and then not looking at me. You can tell through the peripherals. But what was very uncomfortable was the fact that he just wouldn't stop looking at my direction specifically. Eventually he did stop, but again, this was like after I made eye contact with him the first time. I think it's very important to mention that I expected people to be naked in a public onsen. But I did not expect someone to be like obsessively looking at me and my direction, right? So yeah, that was my experience. It was an interesting experience. I don't think I'm ever gonna go to a public onsen again.